Alright, welcome to my second video to still an unnamed series. Not sure what I'm going to call it yet, but they will definitely come to me in future videos. But for now, let's cut to the chase. So yeah, today's video is pretty much going to be about my scan process on how I find opportunity in the market. Alright, so typically I start by opening my Google Drive and opening a Word document that I have titled as my standard operating procedure for pretty much everything that has to do with my process in terms of just scanning, entry tactics, my risk parameters for when the market's good, when the market's shit, um, trade logging, my 5-star setup checklist, my stock due diligence checklist, pre-market process, journaling process, deep dive process. So yeah, today we're strictly going to be talking about my scan process and going through pretty much just a scan. So yeah, I actually have a second monitor, so that's what I'm just going to be basing it off of. I'm going to be looking at my other document. I'll show you a quick glance, this pretty much. But yeah, so to start off, I start with a 6-month gainer scan, and I pretty much just go through and look for opportunity. The market's still open. Um, right now is probably the best time for me to film a video, so I might as well just do it now, even though the market's still open. So typically scans kind of change when market closes, but we could still run through one. I've kind of already know that there's not that much opportunity out there, but it's alright. We'll still go through a scan, see what we see. So yeah, pretty much I'm looking for a high ADR stock, and by the terms of my scan or the script of my scan, some of that stuff already comes up off off default. But other things I'm looking for are a clear pivot level, which is pretty much a point on the chart where I can deem it as a low risk buy and hopefully get a tight stop for a good long play. I want some declining volume, some fluid price action in previous breakouts or pivot breaks, whatever we want to call them, and some inside days and pretty much a stock coming to like a pinch. So like a triangle, just different variations of it, but typically I like a lot of higher lows and just a stock coming to a pinch. Like we took the setup here, for example. Ended up not really going or doing too well, but yeah, you get the gist. So yeah, we pretty much just go through all these scans and look for that. This is something that interests me. I've been looking at this. I just don't like how there's not that many higher lows. Declining volume looks good. But yeah, I pretty much go through. Also, while I'm doing this, I typically time myself just to keep a log of how much time I spend on a week-to-week basis scanning. But for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna kind of take my time and just go through slowly, even though I primarily use this time to not do quick glances, but I don't spend too much time on doing my due diligence while I scan. I just kind of see what I see, and then I star it, put it over here, and then after that, after I run through my scan completely, I go ahead and do some due diligence, take further look at the setups, make my final cuts, and they all ultimately end up right here on the all flag symbols, which to me are my actionable setups that I can take the next following day, and I set alerts on them. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep going through, see what I see. This could be something the next coming days. We'll star that. This is something I've been paying attention to. I like everything about this setup other than that the price action to me is not that fluid, but some good declining volume, higher lows on a key moving average. Makes a decently sized move, 44%, and then starts pulling back to some moving averages. But in my my opinion, this price action is pretty ugly. So yeah, just going through. It's a pretty boring and mundane process, but it's what it's got to be to find opportunity. Another thing I'll do while I'm scanning is if I see a setup that I missed, for example, something like this, where I personally, um, I didn't like the setup but ended up breaking out. Anyways, I'll star it and then I'll add it to this watch list right here, breakouts to monitor, and this watch list kind of helps me gauge the market in terms of whether or not setups are working. And if they're working, that's usually a good indication to put risk on. And if they're not working, something to be aware of, maybe risk down or just don't risk at all. Something I've been paying attention to that's already in a watch list. Like I said, I've already did a scan, but we're just doing it again. This is on my not ready yet list. I want to see it catch up with the 10. The higher lows are beautiful. It's getting really tight, coming to a pinch, the declining volume. Perfect. I just want to see it touch the 10. I'm sure this is actually riding the 5 perfectly. Yeah. You can just tell. With enough time, you can kind of just tell that it's possibly riding a different moving average. Typically the 5, but I don't take pivot breaks, breakouts off the 5. I take them off the 10. Setup we're already in. Still holding 100% by the way. No reason for me to sell. Looks like we're bouncing off the 5 today. Just fine. Something else I'm monitoring too. We already caught this move right here in the past. Ended up breaking down. I know a lot of people were paying attention to, I guess, this setup. It wasn't really set up in my eyes, but ended up breaking down. But recently it's made about a, I don't know, 100 something percent move, 150% move. Now it's starting to pull sideways again, forming higher lows. I would like to see a couple more tight days on the 10, maybe some more declining volume, and that might be ready to go. Something I'm actually interested in too. We're gonna add that to the star list. Yeah, I don't typically like, I just start quickly. I don't like to waste too much time while I'm scanning. My primary objective is just to scan, find opportunity, and then I'll do my due diligence in terms of, you know, potentially looking at the fundamentals, looking just deeper at the technicals, etc., etc. Hmm, interesting. Might be something we're paying attention to for next week. Alright, now we go to sector slash industry scanner. And this pretty much gives me every sector, every industry, and then we just go through within that to just kind of put all these names into a general group to potentially find themes. Like for example, back when NNE was breaking out right here, SMR was also breaking out. So it was a little bit of a, what you call it, a industrial theme. But yeah, this is primarily to try to find themes, try to find multiple setups within a sector or industry. But same premise. If we see something, we start. We don't think about it too much now. We do more of the due diligence later. As long as I see, the setup coming to a pinch on moving averages, it recently made a big move, declining volume. I will quickly just flag it and then continue to do my due diligence later. But yeah, pretty much I do this every day. And like, let's say for example, I'm not trading too well or the market's just shit in general. I might not scan for a couple days just so that I'm not tempted to mistakenly see opportunity when there really isn't any opportunity just because I'm itching for a trade. Some say to just be disciplined during that time, but I find it best for me to just kind of not avoid the market, but not be so eager to just try to find opportunity. So sometimes I just don't scan, but that's only when the market's, in my opinion, not favorable for my specific setup. But other than that, I usually be scanning every single day. Actually, we're gonna just skip healthcare because I don't really trade biotechs typically. And if I do, they're really small size, but we're just gonna skip that. So yeah, just going through. Still the same mundane, boring process, but that's what it's got to come down to. One thing I've noticed about this market specifically recently is that the indexes are actually they're shaping up pretty well, but there isn't really an abundant amount of setups, which is pretty interesting. Could be a sign for what's to come, or you know, could just be that setups still need some more time to develop. Go through it here. It's looking like we're not seeing too much. Go through the energy sector one last. See, this kind of interests me. Pretty clear pivot level. Not enough higher lows though. But this isn't like your typical flag stock coming to a pinch. It's more about a nice pivot break. Alright, so after we do that, I'll usually stop my timer and I'll consider that, you know, um, the duration of me scanning. I'll input that into a spreadsheet. I'll show a quick little sneak peek of that. It's nothing really fancy, but I'll just put it in here. Call that a scan, and then from there I will start. If I have a lot of symbols in my favorites or a lot of tickers in my favorites, I will transition them to the proper watch list. So for example, with AQST, I will add this into the not ready yet because in my opinion, it's not ready. I do like the way it looks though. It's starting to shape out pretty nicely. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to that. Makes a 51% move, The volume's starting to decline. From that breakout day, yeah, we're starting to decline overall. Hit the 21 day and started bouncing off of it. Now what I would want to see is to start seeing the stock coming to a pinch and ride the 10 for a little bit longer. Typically a minimum of 10 bars. That would be nice. Same thing with Gevo. And put that into the not ready yet list because it's pretty much fitting all the criteria. Declining volume, big recent move of 156%. It's starting to pull back to the 10. It's going to hopefully continue making higher lows, come to a pinch. I want to see it touch the 10 though. I don't want to see it just floating above. But yeah, we'll add that to the not ready yet list. And I'll give you guys a sneak peek at that. This was, in my opinion, not ready right here, but I guess it's breaking out. But it could just come back. Here was another one that broke down. So like, let's say for example, I have a name in here that's on the not ready yet list, but it ends up breaking down. I'll just quickly remove it. Call it a day. Oh, that's another thing with TC2000. It glitches out. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. But yeah, got Gevo. The setup I took recently, I cut the position on this day here, but it's actually shaping up to be even better, which is nice. Like I said, nice recent big move, decently big, 38%. Found support on the 20, bounce back up again, building these nice higher lows. Oh, building these nice higher lows, declining volume. It's getting some thin days. It's been riding the 10 and the 20 for about 20 bars, so could be actionable for tomorrow. But one more inside day would definitely not hurt. NVAX, this broke down, so I'm gonna remove that. This also broke down. Ooh, this is starting to look even better. Keep going sideways. Nice higher lows. Looking good. We already talked about AQST. This is still looking pretty decent. Could look a lot better. We'll see though. Keep that there for now. Oh, another good setup. That's shaping up pretty decently. Oh, well the ADR went down significantly, so we might remove that. And yeah, we'll go through this too. We were actually in this position. We cut it for a small loss, pretty much break even, and it ended up working out. But you know, that's what happens. I guess I was trying to get too cute with the trade. Instead of holding it around my entry, I decided to cut, and obviously that did not pay off. But nothing I can do about it now. But yeah, that's pretty much my scanning process that I go through every single day, given that the market is looking good. So in periods like this, I probably won't be scanning, but once we start getting to periods like this, I am scanning. Even in periods like this, I'll still be scanning, but just to get a gauge of the market, and then obviously in periods like this, I will be scanning. Periods like this, I'll be scanning. Periods like this, I won't be scanning. But yeah, that's pretty much my scan process. Like I said, still an unnamed series, working on that stuff. Gonna be posting more content than just trading, but we'll get to that in another video. Anyways, thank you for watching, thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the next one.